Yes, there is another note that we need to understand uh, regarding the power series. Suppose if R is the largest number, such that summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power converges absolutely. Now it is converges absolutely. So therefore, we'll take a circle which is having the radius r, that is mod z minus z naught. Z naught is nothing but a center, and such r exist, such if that exists, the series will be convergent for z1 which is not equal to z naught, z1 which is not equal to z naught. This circle is nothing but called as a circle of convergence. This is called circle of convergence, where it has the center z naught and which radius is nothing but equal to r. Okay, equal to the circle of convergence, and the circle of convergence of the power series r, and r is nothing but called as a radius of convergence. This r is nothing but called as a radius of convergence of the power series. So therefore, the radius of convergence is given in the form of like this, that is 1 by r equal to limit supremum mod a n whole power 1 by n. This is one formula, and r is equal to, if you take the reverse manner, if you take, then this will be limit n tends to infinity is supremum of mod a n by a n plus 1. Okay, this is the 2 points which is going to exist, and if limit n tends to infinity mod a n by a n plus 1 exists, then r can be written as limit n tends to infinity a n by n plus 1, a n plus 1, a n plus 1, and the r will be in the range of 0 to plus infinity. So this is the regarding the radius of convergence. We have some problems. They may ask us to prove that what is the radius of convergence for the given power series. That's a question which will be asked in the problems. That problems will do it later, but this is an important concept that you have to remember, that radius of convergence is nothing but given in the form of like this, and you can say one of the formula is this, and this is also one more formula, and this is also one more, you can write in the form of like this. Now this is how the radius of convergence has been given, and it is being taken. Now we'll do one small theorem which is important as well. Okay, the theorem says in the form of like this, let z1 be the point inside the circle of convergence, mod z minus z naught is nothing but equal to r of the power series, and summation equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n. Then the power series convergence uniformly on the closed disk, means mod z minus z naught is less than or equal to r1, where r1 is given as z1 minus z naught. So this is the r1 which is given. So we'll make use of the previous theorem what we have done. In the previous theorem, what it says is, we have from the previous theorem, the previous theorem we have that summation a n z1 minus z0 whole power n is less than some infinity. It is nothing but a convergent. Already we have taken from the previous theorem. In the previous video we have done this. So what we'll do is, we'll consider the power series summation a n z1 z minus z0 whole power n, and we'll write this summation, total summation, into two parts. One is Sn, the other one is rho n. Rho n is nothing but the value which is goes from n to infinity, and Sn is nothing but n to n minus 1. So like that, we'll take two conditions, we'll take two parts, that is write Sn of z is equal to summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 a n z minus z naught whole power n, z minus z naught whole. This is from 0 to n minus 1 terms, all such terms which are nothing but 0 to n minus 1 terms. I'll take rho n of z. Rho n of z is nothing but summation, I'll consider as n is equal to, that is small n is equal to n to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n. See, this is from 0 to n minus 1, this is from n to infinity, two parts. One is one is 0 to n minus 1 and the other one is n to infinity. So 0 to 1 minus 1, n to infinity. The combination of these two is nothing but the total. Okay, so this is how we have considered. Now we suppose that let s of z. Now total s of z is what? S of z is the combination of these two, means Sn of z plus some rho n of z. This is the combination, and this is the combination which we have. So therefore what we have is, if I take limit n tends to infinity Sn of z, Sn of z is nothing but equal to some s of z. N tends to infinity, Sn of z is nothing but equal to s of z. That implies we can write that limit n tends to infinity, rho n of z is nothing but equal to 0. Now this is when it is 0, as n tends to infinity, I can say that limit n tends to infinity, it becomes as a s of z. Okay, so we'll take this condition, we'll try to write this condition in a proper way. Okay, what is that now? To each epsilon greater than 0, there exists n naught a neighborhood under the epsilon to z such that there exists n, there exists n natural number, there exists n rho n of z, it is nothing but equal to 0. No, it is nothing but less than some epsilon for all n greater than n naught. So this condition, I am writing this condition in the form of like this. It is something like less than some epsilon, because here 0 is there. So minus 0 means less than some epsilon. It is nothing but the definition of limit. So for n greater than n naught. Now we'll write sigma n. Sigma n tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. I am just taking sigma n which is tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. So therefore sigma n means I may use again the definition of limit, that let epsilon greater than 0 be given, then there exists n naught to the neighborhood which is belongs to n such that what we can write, sigma n is also less than some epsilon for all n greater than n naught. Now this is again I am taking in the definition as it is, like how we have taken the definition here. It's the same thing we have taken as sigma n also. Okay, now by using these two and these all the conditions, we'll try to evaluate the try to solve the theorem. Now what the theorem says now. Okay, we'll try to solve the theorem now in the form of like this. Okay, so we'll try to write in the form of like this. Now we'll take for m and n which is greater than n naught. I am taking a m comma n which is greater than n naught such that rho n of z is nothing but is equal to mod summation n is equal to n to m a n z minus z naught whole power n. Just I am taking in the form of like this, rho n of z. Okay, so this is what we have taken. So this one will write in the form of like this. We'll write this one in the form of in a form of like this. We'll try to write which is in the form of in a different manner. We'll try to take the mod inside, so that you will be getting in the form which is less than or equal to. I'm taking the mod inside, so I'll take the limit first. We'll try to write this one with the help of the limit which is being taken. Otherwise I may take in the form of like this, that is rho n of z rho n of z is equal to like limit m tends to infinity. I'm writing as m tends to infinity such that I may write in the form of summation yeah summation n is equal to n to infinity, sorry, n to m a n z minus z naught whole power n. This has to be written as in the form of infinity. Okay, so this is n to infinity, no? So this infinity I'm writing in the form of like this m to infinity, where n is equal to n to m a n z minus z naught whole power n, now which is less than or equal to limit m tends to infinity summation n is equal to n to m a n z minus z naught whole power n and the mod. I've taken mod inside. Okay, now which is less than or equal to m to infinity summation n is equal to n to m. I may write this as a n which is less than, that is z1 minus z naught whole power n. This already we have proved in the previous theorem, that which is this is less than this. So therefore what we can write here is which is strictly less than, I can say this is less than infinity. This is less than infinity, but before that writing I may write as this is sigma n which is less than, this is sigma n which is less than some epsilon, which is less than some epsilon by already we have taken in the previous thing. So already we have taken, no, this is less than some epsilon we have taken for the neighborhood. So therefore we have taken less than some epsilon. So therefore what we can write here is, summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n is uniformly convergent. We can write as it is a uniformly convergent. This is how we can write, because this is for all I can write m comma n which is greater than n naught. Okay, so therefore it is a uniformly convergent on I can write that z minus z naught which is less than or equal to some r1. So this is how we can prove by taking all these values from the previous theorem as well as the theorem which we have taken. So Sn has been divided into two parts. One is S of z can be divided into two parts, that is Sn of z and rho n of z. So rho n of z we have taken, so that is nothing but less than. So the values which are there in the series from n to infinity is less than some epsilon. So therefore it is nothing but a convergent, absolutely convergent. So this is how we can prove the theorem of this, and we'll try to prove the another important theorem based on this only. We have one more theorem is there, that we'll try to solve the theorem. Okay, the theorem is in the form of like this. Suppose r is the radius of convergent, or radius of convergence of power series. R is the radius of convergence of power series. Summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n to each z with mod z minus z naught is less than r. Let S of z is equal to summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n, a n z minus z naught whole power n, then S of z is the continuous function, z is a continuous function on mod z minus z naught less than r, mod z minus z naught less than r. Now this is what we have. R is the radius of convergence of power series summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n to each z with mod z minus z naught less than r. Now let s of z is nothing but a power series n equal to 0 to infinity such that this s of z is nothing but a continuous function. Means we need to prove that it is nothing but less than some epsilon. So same thing what we have done in the previous problem, that we are going to divide s of z into two parts. One is Sn of z, the other one is rho n of z. Rho n of z is nothing but from n to infinity, and Sn of z is nothing but from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, these are the two things we are going to do, and we'll try to solve the theorem in the form of like this. Okay, so we'll try to solve that one in the form of like this. Now we'll try to see in this manner. Proof. Okay, just now what we discussed is, now s of z I'll take. S of z is nothing but equal to Sn of z plus some rho n of z. We are taking s of z as Sn of z plus rho n of z, and let z1 be any point, in mod z minus z naught which is less than r. Any point in mod z minus z naught less than r. So we now show that s of z is continuous. S of z is continuous at z1. It is continuous at z1. So therefore what we'll do is, we'll take let epsilon be greater than 0 be given. We are taking epsilon which is greater than 0 be given. So we'll try to prove that s of z minus s of z1. Now z1 we have taken a point, no? So s of z minus s of z1, mod s of z minus s of z1 is less than some epsilon. That we need to prove. If we are able to prove that is less than some epsilon, then our aim is completed. Okay, so therefore we are writing in the form of like this. So this s of z and s of z1 can be taken in the form of, what is s of z? S of z is nothing Sn of z plus rho n of z. Now we'll try it as that only, s of z plus rho n of z. This is rho n of z. Okay, now what we'll do is, z1 is there, so I may write as this is Sn of z1 as well as rho n of z1. We'll just try to take both. S of z1 is nothing but some Sn of z1 minus rho n of z1. S of z, Sn of z and rho n of z is nothing but s of z, what we have chosen. Okay, now we'll reshuffle this. So what we'll do, s of z minus Sn of z1 we'll take together, plus and rho n of z minus rho n of z1 we have taken together. These two terms and these two terms we have taken together. Okay, now what we'll do is, we'll take mod on both sides. So we'll take mod s of z minus s of z1 is nothing but equal to mod s of z minus Sn of z1, okay, one term, plus rho n of z minus rho n of z1. This is another term which we have taken, okay, inside the mod, total mod. So if I apply mod, I may write less than or equal to Sn of z minus Sn of z1 plus rho n of z minus rho n of z1. This we have taken. Let us take this as number 1. Simply what we have taken s of z and s of z1, and we have written in the form of like this. Now we'll try to find out the value of Sn of z and Sn of z1, and the other one is you can understand that the one is rho n of z and rho n of z1. These are the two things we are going to take, and we are going to find out the thing. Okay. Now this one shall we write in another way, that is Sn of z minus Sn of z1 plus, I'll reshuffle this again, this is rho n of z plus, I'll take rho n of z1, I'm taking like this. I'm just taking this one, mod minus of rho n of z is nothing but rho n of z only. Still I'm dividing this one, I'm just taking in the formula like this. What you got is Sn of z minus Sn of z1 plus rho n of z plus rho n of z1. This is another term, this is another term. 1, 2, 3 terms we got. Okay, 3 terms we got. So we'll try to find out the values of these 3 terms. So what is Sn of z? Sn of z, I may write Sn of z in the form of like this. Sn of z is nothing but summation n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 an z minus z naught whole power n. It is again a power series from 0 to n minus 1, already we have taken. Being a polynomial, it is a polynomial of degree less than or equal to n minus 1. The degree is less than or equal to n minus 1. It is continuous. It is continuous at some z1. It is continuous at z1. Now this is how we have taken that Sn of z in the form of like this. Now we'll try to find out the other values also in the form of like this. So we'll try to find out the other values. Okay. So therefore, what we got that. So for epsilon by 3, I am taking a value for epsilon by 3 which is greater than 0. There exists delta greater than 0 such that Sn of mod Sn of z minus Sn of z1 is less than some epsilon by 3 whenever mod z minus z naught is z1 is less than some delta 1 and z belongs to some d. D is nothing but the domain which is we are going to take. Sn of z minus Sn of z1 is less than some epsilon by 3 whenever z mod z minus z1 is less than some delta 1. Okay, this is the value which we have chosen. Now for epsilon by 3 greater than 0, again greater than 0, there exists a neighborhood to the epsilon such that mod rho n of z is less than some epsilon by 3 as well. Rho n of z1 is also less than some epsilon by 3 for all n greater than equal to n naught. Now these are the two values which also we got in the form of epsilon by 3 and epsilon by, which is something like epsilon by 3, which is convergent towards some epsilon by 3 and epsilon by 3. So because why we have taken this one because we have chosen this because summation n equal to 0 to infinity an z minus z naught whole power n is uniformly convergent. It is uniformly convergent on z minus z naught which is less than or equal to r1. Since because of which this is convergent, we can able to take the values of these two in the form of like this. Okay, whenever we can write whenever mod z minus z naught is equal to r1, encloses z minus z naught mod z minus z naught less than some delta. This is how we can take. Okay, so for now for n greater than n naught, n greater than n naught, and the z with mod z minus z1 is less than some delta 1, we have, now what we have, that we'll see. What we have is the in the previous from 1 I can take from 1. Okay, s of z minus of s of z1 is less than that 1 I am writing here, less than Sn of z minus Sn of z1 plus rho n of z plus rho n of z1. This is one already I have written there, so I am writing the same thing, which is less than some epsilon by 3 from here, and this also epsilon by 3, this also some epsilon by 3, so epsilon by 3, epsilon by 3, epsilon by 3, you will be getting as epsilon. Now what you got here is s of z minus of s of z1 is less than some epsilon. Okay, is less than some epsilon. So therefore what we can say, s of z is continuous at z1. It is continuous at z1. Since this z1 is nothing but an arbitrary, this is arbitrary, z1 is arbitrary, this is arbitrary. So s of z is nothing but continuous on mod z minus z naught is less than some r. So this is how we can complete the, we can prove that it is nothing but the continuous of the problem which we have taken. Okay, so what we have chosen is the theorem in the form of like this. The theorem is nothing but s of z is nothing but continuous function. So we have chosen s of z is equal to Sn of z and rho n of z, and z1 is any point in this mod z minus z naught less than r, and we have to prove that s of z is nothing but continuous at z1. So we have taken the form of s of z and s of z1. We are divided into two parts. One is Sn of z and rho n of z, and the other one is Sn of z1 minus rho n of z1. If you multiply minus inside, you will be getting. So okay, so this we have chosen in the form of rho n of, we have taken into two, here from Sn of z here and Sn of z here we have taken, and we have taken the mod, and we got in the form of like this, because Sn of z is nothing but up to n minus 1 terms, and rho n of z is nothing but from n to infinity. We have chosen the form of like this, being a polynomial which is nothing but less than or equal to n, which is continuous at z1. So therefore because of that we have chosen for epsilon by 3 greater than 0, there is delta greater than such that it is nothing but less than or equal to some epsilon by 3 whenever mod z minus z naught is less than delta 1, because it is continuous. So in the same manner, for epsilon by 3 greater than 0, there exists a neighborhood of n of n naught epsilon, such that you will be getting as epsilon by 3, and for z1 also you will be getting as epsilon by 3. Based on these three values, we have proved that it is nothing but less than some epsilon. Therefore s of z is nothing but continuous at z0, and z1 is arbitrary, and s of z is nothing but continuous on mod z minus z0 less than r. Now this is what we have completed the theorem, and we'll try to prove the another important theorem, and we'll try to solve that also, which is very important. That also we'll try to prove. The one more important theorem that we'll try to solve, okay, which is also asked for 4 marks. The theorem is like this. I'll write the statement first, then we'll try to solve the theorem in the form of like this. Suppose s of z is equal to summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n is a power series, with a radius of convergence, r. with radius of convergence r. Let C be any contour contained in mod z minus z naught which is less than r. Contained in mod z minus z less than r. If g of z is continuous on C, then integral C g of z s of z dz is equal to summation n equal to 0 to infinity an integral C g of z z minus z naught whole power n dz. So this is what we have to prove. That is s of z. Suppose s of z is nothing but n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n is a power series with radius of convergence r. Let C be any contour contained in z minus z naught less than r. G of z is continuous. Now this is what? This is the thing we should prove. That is integral C g of z s of z. You should understand that s of z is nothing but a power series and g of z is the continuous function. So the power series with integration. Now we are going to find out the integration with the help of this one is the power series. Okay, we'll try to prove in the form of like this. Now the proof I am writing in the form of like this. Okay, what the proof given is, the proof is in the form of like this. Let us write Sn of z. Sn of z is equal to summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 an z minus z naught whole power n. As you know already, Sn of z is nothing but from 0 to n minus 1 terms in the power series, and rho n of z same thing after n minus 1 terms. Summation n is equal to n to infinity an z minus z naught whole power n. Now then what we can take, then s of z can be taken as Sn of z plus rho n of z, and Sn of z is nothing but tends to 0 uniformly on C. It is 10 to 0 uniformly on C. Okay, so this is what we know. So because of that we have chosen that s of z is in the form of like that, and we'll write some values. Right, L is equal to length of C, length of the curve C. Okay, and let mod g of z is bounded by some value m on C. Okay, now we'll try to take g of z s of z is equal to, now what is s of z? You know that s of z is nothing but the combination of these two. These two combination is nothing but s of z. Okay, I am writing that only here. Sn of z plus some rho n of z. We'll multiply g of z inside. G of z Sn of z plus g of z rho n of z. Just have multiplied. Okay, g of z s of z is equal to this. Okay, now let us take this as number 2 and this is nothing but number 1. Let us take. Okay, this is number 2. Right, each term in equation 2 is continuous. It is continuous on C. Each term is continuous on C. Let us take integral on both sides. We'll take integral on both sides. Now if you take integral, what is going to happen? That also we'll try to find out. Okay, now integral. So what we'll do is, we'll take integral g of z S of z is equal to integral C g of z Sn of z dz plus integral C g of z rho n of z dz. Now I have taken integral on both sides. Okay, that is equal to integral over C g of z. Sn of z means what? 0 to n minus 1 terms. Summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 an z minus z naught whole power n dz plus integral C g of z. And I may write this as rho n of z as it is. We'll take that terms later. Okay. Now this is what? Now I'll take the summation outside. So what is that now? Summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 integral C g of z. I may write this as an also I'll write outside, and I'll write as z minus z naught whole power n dz plus integral C g of z rho n of z dz. Now this is what we have taken. We have taken simply the integral, the summation outside, and an also outside, and g of z minus z naught whole power n dz. I have taken this side. Now let us take this as number 3, equation number 3. Okay, now we'll try to solve this one first. If this is nothing but tends to 0, as n tends to infinity, this tends to 0, then our problem is completed. Okay, so now we now show that limit n tends to infinity integral C g of z rho n of z dz is nothing but equal to 0. If I are able to show that this is nothing but equal to 0, our aim is completed. So let for epsilon greater than 0 be given. Let us take epsilon which is greater than 0 be given, and the rho n of z is nothing but tends to 0 uniformly on C. Okay, so for epsilon greater than 0, there exists a neighborhood n naught such that, which is belongs to n, such that mod rho n of z is less than some epsilon for all n greater than n naught. This already we have taken the definition. Okay, so therefore for n greater than n naught, mod, I'll take mod integral C g of z rho n of z dz, which is less than or equal to, I'll apply the mod inside. If I apply mod inside, which is less than or equal to integral C mod g of z mod rho n of z and a mod dz. Okay, dz is this. Okay, so which is less than or equal to mod g of z. Already we have taken that it is nothing but m. We have already taken that it is nothing but m, which is less than or equal to m. This is already we have taken m, and L is nothing but length of this is total curve length. That will try to write the values. Now this is m. Okay, and I'll write m first, then this one is epsilon. From here I'll write epsilon integral over C mod dz. I'll write for your understanding sake. This is less than or equal to some m epsilon. This is nothing but L. Already we have taken. Okay, that is nothing but L. So therefore what we can say, limit n tends to infinity, I may write as integral C g of z rho n of z dz is nothing but equal to 0. As n tends to infinity, this whole term will be nothing but equal to 0. So this you can take it as number 4. So using 4 in 3 we get. Using this 4 in 3, what we are going to have? We are going to have in the form of like this. We'll try to write that one in the form of like this. So this is This is here, this is we got as 0. So therefore we can write in the form of integral c g of z s of z dz is equal to g of z s of z dz is equal to, this is nothing but tends to 0 because from the 4. So what you will get now, summation n equal to 0 to, as n tends to infinity, so this becomes as infinity. So what we can write here, n equal to 0 to infinity. Okay, I may write an integral c g of z into z minus z naught whole power n dz. Now this is the value which we got from the simplification. So this is a theorem what we have done. So what the theorem says, the theorem what he has given, integral c g of z s of z dz is equal to summation equal to 0 to infinity n integral c g of z and z minus z naught whole power n dz we have proved. Okay, so once again we'll try to see how we can prove this theorem. See, the thing is, now we need to prove this integration with the help of the integration and the power series actually it is. So we have taken the power series in the two, that is nothing Sn of z and rho n of z, and you know that rho n of z is nothing but after n terms, and Sn of z n minus 1 terms, and as Sn of z tends to 0 uniformly on C. Now we have chosen L is the length of the C, and mod g of z is nothing but less than or equal to m on C, and we have taken g of z s of z. S of z is nothing but a combination of Sn of z and rho n of z that we have taken here, and we have multiplied and we have taken 2, and this is nothing but a continuous one. Since it is a continuous one, we can have this one in the form of like this. We will take the integration on both sides, and we have substituted Sn of z value here, and rho n of z is nothing but as it is which we have taken. Okay, and we have written the form of n here outside, and this one. Now this value we have to show that it is nothing but equal to 0. So that for that sake we have taken as, let epsilon greater than 0 be given, and rho n of z is nothing but tends to 0 uniformly on C. And for the epsilon greater than 0 there exists neighborhood which is belongs to n such that it is nothing but less than some epsilon. So we have taken the mod, by taking this one we have taken the mod, and we have applied mod inside. You got as this one is convergent which is less than or equal to m. Already we have taken epsilon into c mod z. This is the length of the curve L. As n tends to infinity, this is nothing but equal to 0. That we have applied here. We got the result in the form of like this. Now this is the result which we have got. The result is integral c g of z s of z dz is nothing but equal to the summation equal to 0 to infinity n c of z g of z and z minus z naught whole power n dz. Now this is how we have completed the theorem. Now we'll try to prove the another important theorem that there exists a converse of a Taylor's theorem. So the next theorem is converse of Taylor's theorem, that we'll try to write the theorem statement first, then we'll try to prove. So the next important theorem is converse of a Taylor's theorem. How we get that Taylor's theorem, we'll try to find out in the form of like this. Okay, so suppose summation n equal to 0 to infinity an z minus z naught whole power n denote a convergent series converging f of z to each z which is belongs to z such that z minus z naught, okay, I'll write here, z belongs to z minus z naught which is less than r. Okay, z minus z naught which is less than r. Then f of z is analytic. Then f of z is analytic. Now this is how we can prove f of z is analytic. Okay, then okay, this is nothing but a converse of Converse of a Taylor's theorem. Converse of Taylor's theorem. This is a converse of Taylor's theorem. Okay, the proof. What is the proof? We'll see. The proof in the form of like this. Let us take f of z is equal to summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n, and the z belongs to mod z minus z naught is less than r. Okay, f of z is nothing but this. We are just chosen this. Let us take a circle. This is a circle. Z naught is nothing but the center, and this is nothing but radius r. There exists one more circle over C here. Okay, the point C. Okay, let C be a closed contour containing in mod z minus z naught is less than r. Containing mod z minus less than. We'll take it as g of z is equal to 1. We'll take it as g of z is equal to 1. Then g of z is continuous on C. G of z is continuous on C. So therefore what we can say, integral C g of z f of z dz. Instead of taking s of z, I am taking as f of z. That is nothing but equal. Already we have the formula here. Instead of taking here s of z, I am taking as f of z. That's all. Only that change. So summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n integral C g of z into z minus z naught whole power n d of z. Okay, this is the value which we have taken. So g of z is what we have chosen. We have chosen that g of z is nothing but 1. We have supposed that g of z is nothing but 1. So therefore what we can write here, integral C, I may write this as f of z dz is equal to summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n integral C z minus z naught whole power n d of z, since g of z is nothing but 1. Okay, this is summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n. You should understand this is z minus z naught whole power n. So this is a closed region, and which is having z minus z naught whole power n according to Cauchy's-Gauss theorem. This is nothing but equal to 0 by Cauchy's-Gauss theorem. According to that, this is 0. So therefore what we can write here is equal to 0. So what we got here, integral C f of z dz is nothing but equal to 0. So what we got, integral C f of z dz is nothing but equal to 0. Then I can say it is nothing but, if I suppose to prove that f of z, I can write as f of z is nothing but a constant function. I can write a constant function. By Morales theorem, f of z is nothing but analytic. So by Morales theorem, f of z is analytic, because integral C f of z is equal to 0 means it is nothing but analytic. F of z is nothing but analytic. So this is how we can prove this one. We can get it analytic function. We can get that as a constant function. Every constant by Morales theorem is nothing but analytic function. So integral C f of z is equal to 0. This is how we can prove with the help of this the formula which we have taken from here. Okay, so there is another important theorem which we can prove based on this one, that is uniqueness of Taylor's theorem. There is another important theorem that is called as a uniqueness of Taylor's theorem. Uniqueness of Taylor's theorem. And because it is a sketch pen, we are unable to write properly. Okay, uniqueness of Taylor's theorem. Okay, we'll write the statement first. Suppose summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n denote a convergent to f of z on z minus z naught less than r. F of z is equal to summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n comma mod z minus z naught less than r. Then summation n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power n is the Taylor's series of f of z. So to prove that theorem, we have to show that a n is equal to f power n f of z by n factorial. F power of 0 of z naught is nothing but equal to f of z naught. Okay, so this is what we need to prove. Okay, what the theorem says is this is the power series and denotes a convergent to f of z and z minus z naught less than r. F of z is equal to the power series n of z minus z naught whole power n mod z minus z naught less than r, and is a Taylor series of f of z, and we need to prove that this a n is nothing but in the form of like this, and we have to suppose to prove that it is already given that we'll take it as f power 0 of f of z z naught is nothing but equal to f of z. So what we need to prove? The proof. What is the proof? The proof what we are supposed to prove. Let us take a circle with the z naught. Z naught is a circle with center r. Okay, this is a center with center r, and there was a one more point here z, is also a circle C. Okay, now let us take that. Now let C be the closed contour region. C be closed contour enclosing z and contained in the disk mod z minus z naught less than r, which is contained in the disk mod z minus z naught less than r. Okay, z minus z naught less than r. I'll take it as we'll consider as g of s is like 1 by 2 pi I and 1 by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1 on C, where this s is nothing but a point on C. S is a point on C. Now we are choosing g of s in such a way that 1 by 2 pi a 1 by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1. Okay, so clearly g of s is nothing but continuous. It is continuous on C. Now we have taken as g of s is nothing but continuous on C. So only thing that you have to remember that you have to consider as g of s in such a way that it is 1 by 2 pi I into 1 by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1 on C. Okay, now we'll try to write f of s. F of s is nothing but equal to summation. I may write this as m equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus z naught whole power m. Okay, we'll try to use the formula which we have done, which we have taken. Integral over c g of s f of s ds is there. No, that formula we are going to use. Integral c g of s f of s ds is equal to summation m equal to 0 to infinity a n integral c g of s. This I may write as s minus z naught whole power m ds. This is the formula which we are just multiplying g of s to this one, and we are writing f of s value here. In g of s is nothing but as it is, f of s value here I am writing. We are using the formula which we have done in the previous theorem. Okay, so therefore we'll try to solve this one by taking in the form of like this. By taking the value of g of s, now what we got here, that we'll write first. Integral c g of s f of s ds equal to summation m equal to 0 to infinity a n integral c g of s s minus z naught whole power m ds. Again the same thing I have written, what we have chosen in the previous this thing. Okay, now what is g of s? G of s I am substituting. Integral c g of s is nothing but 1 by 2 pi I into 1 by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1 into this f of s ds, that is equal to summation m equal to 0 to infinity a n g of s. I am writing the value of g of s. Integral c 1 by 2 pi I into 1 by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1. This is s minus z naught. So I may write here as s minus z naught whole power m ds. Okay, just simply substituting the value of g of s on the both the sides. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll write 1 by 2 pi outside. So 1 by 2 pi I am writing outside, integral over c f of s by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1 ds, as it is I am writing. Here I may write this as summation m equal to 0 to infinity a n 1 by 2 pi I will write outside, integral c. I may take this one to the numerator. So s minus z naught m minus n minus 1 ds. Simply have taken the denominator to the numerator. Okay, now I should write this value of s minus z naught whole power m minus n value. So that I will write here. Since integral c s minus z naught whole power m minus n minus 1 ds value will be equal to 2 pi I. One is 2 pi I. Why it is 2 pi I? When the condition is 2 pi I, when m is equal to n. So when m is equal to n, if m is equal to n, you will be getting as minus 1. See, 1 by s minus z will get. Means you will be getting as, I will write here, 1 by s minus z naught you will get integral c some ds. So that value is 2 pi I when m is equal to n. Means these two will get cancelled and minus 1 will be there. No, means it will come in the denominator. So you will be getting 2 pi I. So it will be 0. When it will be 0? When m is not equal to n. When m is not equal to n, it will be 0. When m is not equal to n, it will be 0. So what I will write is, so I may take it as 2 pi I. I will take 2 pi I when m is nothing but equal to n. So I may write as a n. This is 1 by 2 pi I into 2 pi I. 2 pi is there, no? The 2 pi gets cancelled. So you will be getting as a n you got. So what you got? A n. So what is the left side? So therefore I may write as, therefore a n I will write as a n is equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral c f of s by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1 ds. You got as this one. This is the what you got. Okay, so this is again by the Cauchy's integral formula for the higher order derivative. So therefore what we can write here, therefore an is equal to, so for higher order derivative you may get the value f power n of z naught by n factor you will get. Higher order derivative formula, Cauchy's integral for higher order derivative formula, we have higher order derivative formula as 1 by 2 pi I integral c f of s by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1 ds is equal to f power n of z naught by n factorial. This is the formula which we have for the higher order derivative. So therefore what you got, an is nothing but equal to f power n of z naught by n factorial you got. So this is nothing but what we got is the uniqueness of Taylor's theorem. So Taylor's theorem we have proved by with the help of that. So that is what we are supposed to prove. We are supposed to prove that n is equal to f power n of z naught by n factorial. So once again we'll see that g of s you have to consider, and you have to take a circle with and closed circle with c with z naught, and the r is nothing but the radius, and g of s nothing but you have to consider 1 by 2 pi I 1 by s minus z naught whole power n plus 1 on c, and clearly g of s is nothing but continuous on c, and after that f of s is nothing but this. So you will be multiplying integral c g of s f of s ds is equal to the same thing, and f of s value are going to substitute here, and we'll try to simplify this one by taking the values of g of s here left side as well as the right side. So you'll be getting the an value as in the form of like this. So this is how we can prove the uniqueness of Taylor's theorem by using the above condition, and in the same manner also we can try to prove the uniqueness of Lorentz theorem also there, that we'll see in the next video. Thank you. I hope that you understood. If any doubt is there, you just give me the message. You can type the message in the chat box so that I can verify it and I can give the answer. Thank you. Thanks a lot.